good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. Hello, I'm Kim Serafini, the founder, creator, inventor, and CEO of Positive Prime Technology. I'm here to do a very quick tour of Positive Prime for you. So if you're a new member or you're a member in renewal, so you're re-engaging, then this is the right place for you. And I'm going to say, I'd really suggest that you watch last week's tour of Positive Prime as well. You're actually, depending upon when you're watching this video, going to see lots of changes to our platform, our products and services as we upgrade, enhance, expand, improve over the next 6 months to a year. We are constantly evolving and emerging, and our intention is to actually help you become much more empowered and feel like you're on an enlightenment journey and that you find this richly rewarding. And so I suppose it's best for me to very quickly show you around the actual platform and make sure that you get the most out of it. But the question could be, why on earth would you be bothered to actually log in and view a pure Positive Prime session? Well, here are the maybe top 10 reasons why. 1, the world is actually at the moment, I believe, not all that friendly. And there is an energy in the world, lots of bullying, lots of abuse, criticism, judgments and opinions, lots of people who think their way is right. And a lot of it is negativity. And what it's actually doing is it's triggering the majority of the human race, that's you and me included, so that we actually buy into our limiting beliefs. And we might have this idea, you know what, I'm never going to be truly, and fill in the blank, loved, successful, calm, confident, optimistic. And the question is, why do you want to be any of that? I actually truly believe that we as human beings, like all natural things on planet Earth, we're designed to grow. And when we're not growing, we're in atrophy, we're dying. And so the purpose for all of us is to grow, improve, develop our skills, our gifts and our talents, so that we can actually offer those to others and we can give of ourselves more than we're taking from life. And that's one of the grand laws of the universe, to be in this equitable exchange energetically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, as well as financially. And what we know about very positive people, people who are positively primed, and the scientists actually also do define this as people who are very happy and have an easier access and ability to feel real joy, cheerfulness, lightheartedness, and playfulness. We absolutely do know now, there's a remarkable amount of research done. These people are healthier, you have less pains and aches, less injuries, you recover faster, you're actually less likely to experience debilitating stress that, you know, compounds the real issue around productivity. So when people are really pushing up against, you know, this stressful situation or circumstance, what actually happens is that we narrow our focus when what we actually need to do is broaden our focus. And so we live in a world where it's not automatic for all of us to be as positive as we can be. And we know that positive people are more likely to be promoted. They're more likely to earn more than $1 million extra over their lifetime. They're more likely to actually be in meaningful, rewarding relationships that are wholesome, where there's real reciprocity in terms of compassion and kindness. And we know that people who are positive, and they can be defined as somebody who's very positive, they're less likely to actually get sick, even the flu. They have people who are positively primed. They actually, in experiments, give them the actual flu. They put something up their nose that actually gives them the flu. And we find that people are positively primed are less likely to then test as if they've actually caught the flu or rhinovirus sometime later. And the people who are negatively primed, and there's a way to actually do the opposite of what we do here at Positively Priming ourselves, they are actually much more likely to get sick, and be sick for longer and not actually bounce back. So positivity is actually super important. It's absolutely critical and essential. And it just doesn't happen as organically or as naturally as we would hope in this day and age. You actually need something to do it to you, for you. And that's the power of Positive Prime. That's the art of Positive Prime. It's actually also the science. We've scientifically proven that within 3 minutes, your brain will be in a state that is this continuous synchronization of alpha and theta waves. What that actually means is your brain is in a positive state. It's in a state of flow. And we know that that's actually going to mean that as a human, you are much more likely to make more accurate decisions faster. You're more energetic, and all of these research studies have been done and repeated and so forth. The question often becomes, if you know that you must be positive, how on earth do you be positive, and how do you get positive if, and you maybe like me, you have lots of, concerns, worries, issues, you run a business, you're in a family. So we have these triggers in our lives. It could be looking after elderly parents. It could be fighting with our siblings, or it could be distress with our children. It could be that we're actually having some upset with one of our colleagues, or our boss is actually just being mean and nasty. Or we feel like we're not good enough and we're never going to be. We feel guilty about something that we've done, or we feel like we're letting people down, and all of that emotion, quite frankly, is detrimental. It really and truly is. It's damaging to you, your physical health, and indeed your future outcomes with respect to your health. So we know that people who are in the opposite of alpha and theta wave brain waves, like this opposite state, they're in high beta, which means they're in high stress. You can see that in the brain. And we know that that's actually toxic and it causes damage. And so it's not surprising to those of us who really study neuroscience and positive psychology and so forth to see a much greater incidence of these neurodivergent people being born, but much more importantly, the people who are suffering towards the end with things like dementia, or the other contributing factors like an addiction to sugar or an addiction to alcohol, and I could go on and on and on. So suffice to say, you've decided, I want to be positive. I want to be optimistic. I actually want to see the best in others. The truth is, how do you make sure that you are in that state where it's probable that you are more likely to be positive and maintain a positivity so that it's enduring? Positive Prime. So there are lots of activities that you can do. Lots of them take a lot longer than 3 minutes for them to work, and they don't last as long in terms of their impact and their affect or effect. Positive Prime has been proven to last at least 6 to 8 hours. So I would argue, absolutely positively prime yourself before you go into any meeting where anything is going to be required of you in any way, shape, or form. Make that a decision and a commitment that you'll be positively primed before you go into any meeting. So you can top up your positivity simply by viewing a pure Positive Prime session. The interesting thing is that a Positive Prime session is infinitely more powerful when it's personalized, because it actually allows your identity to wrap around it. And so in the world of transformation and change management, which is where I've come from over 30 years in the corporate world, having left business school, I actually went and specialized in managing and leading in leadership issues and communication issues in giant organizations globally in these projects that were around mergers and acquisitions. And I worked with a lot of organizational psychologists, but I'd been very interested in psychology through sports psychology, elite performance as an athlete for both me and my brother and the kinds of people that were our friends. And so I had this natural propensity to be extremely inquisitive about the power of our minds. I'll tell you something really funny. As an aside, I was born in Papua New Guinea, which is on the equator north of Australia. It's absolute paradise. I want you to imagine somewhere like beautiful Fiji, or indeed French Polynesia, where Bora Bora is, or indeed Bali in Indonesia. So imagine those kinds of environments. That's where I grew up. And I was born with webbed feet, i.e. the actual skin between my feet. They literally were like this. And there was a suggestion at one stage that we cut down so that I have, my little toes free, except that my father told me that I was born like a duck, and that's why I could swim really fast and why I was such a strong swimmer and why I was so successful competitively. And the interesting thing is that we believe that which we are told by people who are in authority, who we actually have a relationship with, and there's a power differential. And we've actually applied those principles and that understanding, that knowledge into positive priming ourselves. So in positive prime, you actually have hundreds of what we call sessions. Sessions is actually our word, because what you're not actually viewing a slideshow nor a video. What you're actually doing is you're viewing something that has 1,000 frames, and every single time you press play, it reshuffles and you personalize these experiences. They're emotionally evocative, which is necessary in the process of powerful change that actually works. And so you need to be emotionally engaged, even in the manifestation process. You know, like if you use positive prime sessions as a vision board or as a gratitude journal or as both, the reality is that you really want to be inspired and uplifted by your personal images. They need to motivate you into positive, proactive action, right? So anyway, the crazy thing is that let's just say you're watching Jack Canfield's session on the success principles. His book is absolutely extraordinary, fantastic, phenomenal, amazing, sensational. I would suggest that everybody reads The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And someone like me, maybe you're like this too, you read a book and you make these decisions. Yes, I'm going to be the kind of person who is going to take the initiative. Yes, I'm going to be the type of person who's going to wake up earlier. Yes, I'm going to be the type of person, this, that, and the other, because I think that this is going to lead me to be more successful. And quite frankly, I want to be more successful because actually I would like a whole heap more money that I can spend on myself and others and have more fun. And you get the idea, right? Well, often we don't follow through and follow up. And one of the reasons why is our identity didn't actually wrap around the content and integrate it into our way of being, our character and our personality and the way that we behave in the world, right? So behavior change doesn't happen when we read words on a page. If we didn't actually identify with those words, we have to personalize the messages. And so there is another aspect, is that repetition is the mother of skill. Anthony Robbins says this always. So if I choose to summarize the essence and the absolute beauty of Jack Canfield's messages, and in its integrity, I put statements that are really the summaries of the main messages in that book into a positive prime session. And by the way, we did this with Jack Canfield, right? So then I can watch Jack's session and it can constantly be reinforced within me. And the more it's reinforced within me, the more that repetition actually occurs, the more likely I am actually to put it into practice. Ah, wow. That's a true secret. That's the gem of positive prime sessions. But interestingly enough, if I have respect for Jack Canfield, as I did for my dad when he said, you know, I was a powerful little swimmer, and I was going to be fast because I had little toes like ducks, and ducks are natural to water. And so I made all of these associations, right? So what happens then is that with that power differential, someone we have, you know, up there in authority who we admire and respect, or who we loved, or we have a strong emotional connection with, when they say something to us, we're more likely to believe it. When we're more likely to believe it, we're more likely to act upon it. And so a positive prime session is actually an extremely elegant way for you to have new, empowering and enriching thoughts and beliefs implanted within you. It's like written on your brain by these people that you can not only respect and admire, that you can like and love, that you can actually really allow. So when I'm watching Jack's session, for example, I'll have him here on my shoulder and I feel Jack's energy. It's actually transfused into me. It's transferred, and the intention of his messages I have reinforced. I'm remembering them, I'm actually applying them, and guess what? My life starts to actually show up like, hey, wow, Jack Canfield's influencing me in a really powerful, beautiful way, a way that I choose to allow into my life. So I watch his sessions or any new sessions from anyone I'm trying to get to know. Who's that author? What wisdom are they sharing with me? What are their suggestions? What are their recommendations? What is the evidence that they're actually offering to me that supports my understanding that they have my best interests at heart? And that's why they're a positive prime session author, right? And so I will watch a session on a slow speed to begin with, and I will say out aloud all of the new mantras, affirmations, positive statements, self-fulfilling prophecies. And then as I actually become a lot more comfortable and I think a lot more confident in the messages of that particular session, I'll then speed it up and watch it a lot faster. Right. So I'll probably watch it on speed 6, 7, 8, or 9 at least once a week. And I do watch lots of sessions. And so what I'm going to suggest to you is that inside Positive Prime, you choose at least 3 sessions a day, every single day, maybe 1 in the morning, 1 at lunchtime, 1 in the evening. I actually do watch a Positive Prime session on my office computer, which is here where I'm sharing with you right now. And I do that as a setup before my day, right? I could also do it via the app. If you've got Google Play, you can actually, of course, log into the Positive Prime app. The iOS app is on its way. It's in review. Apple have rejected it more than 10 times. We've gone through more than 10 upgrades already. And so we'll keep going. And maybe by the time you're watching this, there's already an iOS app. Anyway, you want to watch at least 3 sessions all the way through from beginning to end. And let's just say you've only got 3 or 5 minutes. I would say watch it kind of slow, speed 2 or 3 or 4 for a minute or 2 or 3, and then speed it all the way up to speed 8 and 9 until it runs out. And you should be able to watch an entire session within about 5 minutes. The question might also be, what kinds of photographs do you actually upload to personalize? Anything that's meaningful and significant to you that actually makes you feel awesome, right? So anything that you would like on your vision board. Think about the kinds of people you'd like to work with. Do you know, one day someone asked me, who do I really want to work with in the field of positive psychology? And I said, Sean Achor. And Sean Achor had done a very famous TED talk at that stage, and this is nearly 10 years ago. And I found a photograph on Google of Sean Achor and his wife, Michelle Gillen, and I actually uploaded it into my personal collection, and I actually got to see Sean and Michelle. Now, the rest of this story is history because I reached out to Sean, he responded to me, I flew to the US from Australia and I showed him a Positive Prime session. He immediately recognized its value and its genius, and he asked if he could include it as one of the exercises or activities, we call them interventions, as one of the ways to actually produce change inside his course that he was doing with the Oprah Winfrey Network. And Oprah and he and a few others like Ariana Huffington and Kobe Bryant at the time, and his wife and Dr. Bobo and Amy the Unicorn, they were actually creating a Science of Happiness e-course that they rolled out through the Oprah Winfrey Network, and Positive Prime sessions were actually included in it because priming is such an important activity if you want to bring about the benefits and the advantages of being happy. And so if you haven't yet watched Sean's TED Talk, I would suggest that you do. And if you haven't read his book, The Happiness Advantage, I also would suggest that you do. So let me just quickly screen share here for you. And I just want to draw a couple of things to your attention. I'm going as fast as I possibly can on this tour. You come in here and this is your main page, the dashboard, app.positiveprime.com/dashboard. So you can either choose one of the sessions that is playing here. So I love Elaine Sugar. The work she's doing in the world is absolutely sensational. And so I can go and play her session. But before I go play her session, maybe for the first time or whatever, I will personalize it and I will upload photographs. Here, I've actually used my personal collection like my gratitude journal. So everything, actual item I'm really grateful for, gifts I've been given, I've taken photographs of them and I've actually uploaded them here. My friends, my family, my colleagues, my partners in business, any holidays that I've had, any experiences that I've had where there's real joy and cheerfulness and playfulness. I'm so grateful. I use this, personalization opportunity as a way to really, now I'm going to select everything on this page. These are all brand new. If I went to the last page here, you might be able to see that, oh, this is me actually at an Oprah event. That's really funny. This is Michelle Gillen. That's interesting. I'll select everything on this page. This is actually interesting. This is Marcy Shimoff, who wrote Happy for No Reason. One of my favorite human beings on the planet. This is my mom. This is me when I lived in Paris. in France as a young woman when I was working there. I often see angel wings in clouds wherever I am. This is a photograph of me graduating from business school. This is me with Jack Canfield. This is me with Mike Dooley, notes from the universe. This is me with my niece. This is me in Sardinia on a vacation. Anyway, so they all make me super happy. Interestingly enough, here's a photo of Oprah and Ariana, and of course, Princess Diana, when she was Princess Diana, Audrey Hepburn. So these are women who are really amazing. Amelia Earhart. This is actually a koala in my backyard. So now I can go and play the session, and what it's done is it's saved that which I've selected. And so Elaine Sugar, let's just say I want to find out a little bit more about Elaine. I can, but I just want to go through this particular player opportunity. You can turn the music on or off by muting it. You can actually go big screen or small screen. I always watch it on big screen. I actually speed it up, and I might watch, say, 1 minute on speed 9 to begin with, to just drop into the zone, into the flow. And then I might actually slow it all the way down after I've watched it for a minute. There's a very, 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 very important formula for the types of images that you see in a session and the numbers of those types of images that you see in a session. And we do a lot more about the science of positive prime in some other classes, and there are lots of resources for you. So what I would love to do is actually just give you this link as well, positiveprime.com/tutorial/. And if you take this particular URL, positiveprime.com/tutorial/, you will actually find a secret behind the scenes piece of resources. There's a PDF guide here that literally is instructions. And I would suggest that you actually glance over this, have a quick read through. There's actually a session here, and this session teaches you about a positive prime session and its formula. And if you watch it on speed 1, it's actually like you doing this class. So this is a training for you in the form of a positive prime session. And what I can actually tell you, if I scroll all the way down here, this is who I was referring to, Shawn Achor, SHAWN, Achor, ACHOR. His company, Good Think Inc. Is very, very, very successful. This is his TED Talk, and this is actually what he says about positive prime. Now, for the actual Oprah opportunity, we had some research done. And I will tell you that when you absorb information through a positive prime session, we actually tested explicit and implicit memory. And what we actually found is that you literally processed, you comprehended the content in a way that you then consciously remembered it, and you retained it a little better, and then you actually recalled it. And this is a very, 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 very big statement in science. So we actually have just continued some more research at the University of Technology, Sydney. I want you to know that we have a movement that we actually call our positivity movement. And you can be a donor or a sponsor or a member of our positivity movement as a Positive Prime subscriber. So you get some special privileges. And one of those special privileges is that you don't support us and receive a positivity token at 1-for-1, as in you pay $1 and you get 1 token. No, as a Positive Prime special member right now, you actually have an opportunity to support the cause for $300 and receive effectively a 20-to-1 offer. We do have a reflection technology tax inside our tokenomics, which is truly groundbreaking. And so you'll receive 5,820 tokens. And this is only whilst this particular promotion does last. So go to positivityclub.com. That's positivityclub.com. But anyway, let me go back to positiveprime/tutorial. I want you to imagine how crazy wonderful this is. We're working with this man. His name's Dr. Avinash Singh. I was actually introduced to him by Anuraj Gambhir. Anyway, Avinash and I have been having these very deep and meaningful conversations around the way that we are able to observe through EEG, eye tracking, skin conductance, skin temperature. You can see down here, EEG, HRV, EDA, etc. In a lab. The University of Technology in Sydney is a little bit like MIT in the US. And most people have heard of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Well, Sydney is effectively an equivalent here in Southeast Asia or Australasia. Anyway, Dr. Avinash Singh is a very, very interesting human because he believes in transhumanism. And he is at the forefront globally, one of the greatest geniuses on our planet, working on brain-computer interfaces, a little bit like Elon Musk's Neuralink, and in particular, two-way systems. And we've been starting some research around positive prime and the effect it can have. So I want you to imagine within about 10 years, maybe 15 at worst, could be less than 10, together as a community, we're actually going on a journey and we're working towards, and I do want you to imagine this, you wouldn't have to view a positive prime session because we will be able to code the frequencies of, it's actually the sequence, it's like the information in code, and we will be able to have that effectively as a switch that you can flick and it'll go straight into your brain, and the effects or the affect of a positive prime session will actually be something that you can have at the click of a finger instantaneously. Now imagine this, you're feeling angry, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling despair, you've lost your hope, you're feeling like, you know, you're a failure. Click the fingers or flick the switch or activate the BCI, and you have the effects of having watched a personalized positive prime session. That is actually a scientific reality that we are intending on creating for real. Imagine that. All right. So Dr. Avinash Singh is a real gem, a real asset, and he's helping me on this beautiful serendipitous synchronicity kind of coincidental journey. The biggest coincidence or the biggest irony is I am actually transhuman. I have a pacemaker, a cardiac pacemaker that powers me. So let's just go back to positive prime. There's a whole huge story around all of that one day we'll get to share with you. But yes, I'm very young, and yes, I have a pacemaker. And it truly is an extraordinary story. So anyway, let me go back here and just show you that you've got a whole heap of options, and these options are around the invite area. It's around what do you do if you're not yet a paying customer and you want to upgrade. You can go and choose here by going to upgrade. This is where all of the sessions are. I'd choose a new one. The brain, by the way, from a neuroscience point of view, needs novelty. So definitely watch a positive prime session often. But if you watch the same, let's just say I want to focus on increasing my income, I can choose this every single time I press play. The 1,000 frames, or in my case, I've actually personalized this with at least 1,000 of my own photographs. So the 2,000 frames are reshuffled, reordered in a randomized way every single time I press play. That creates new neural networks, new linkages. That's a neuroplasticity effect within positive prime, and it's very, very, very exciting. Anyway, I suppose the other thing I would suggest to you is that let's just say you love this session, you're going to play it, and as you're playing it, you want to play more of it. You can, I'm just going to click happy here. You can heart it, and heart it means that you love this particular piece of content, and so then it'll actually appear here in my sessions, and you can go and see it from my sessions every single day. Awesome. Alrighty. There is a bonuses area here, a stories area here, coaching pearls area here. Absolutely do make sure you take advantage of the free resources, the coaching pearls, the stories, and the bonuses. I think that this is the best value subscription on the planet. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm actually going to say to you this. I work with a few psychologists who recognize that positive prime is at least as powerful and has the potential like EMDR treatments. And most people who go to an actual psychologist for a couple of sessions and the prep before they start EMDR treatment, the reality is that they're spending somewhere between $150 or $300 at a minimum to see that psychologist every single session. And then they might need at least 3, if not more, EMDR sessions. So in order for you to have the same benefits as you have from positive prime, with the just once at $199 a year. Seriously, for you to actually get that upswing any other way with any of the other current methodologies or modalities on planet Earth would cost you more than $1,000, right? But you actually have access to 100+ sessions. You can watch at least 3 a day. I want you to imagine that you actually watch 3 a day over the space of an entire year. And you actually use the invites section. So you were sharing this with at least 4 others. So there was 5 for 1. That would mean that there would be 5 of you watching over 1,000 sessions a year. And if you divide $199 by 5,000, it means that you paid less than 5 cents. 5 cents per activity or exercise. The effects of this lasting 6 to 8 hours means that this is actually, quite frankly, on par with doing a really interesting guided meditation with an expert teacher in a class. And you couldn't possibly drop into the particular brainwave state that we see if you weren't a well-practiced transcendental meditationist, you know, and you'd literally been in the practice for years. So what you have at your fingertips is absolutely, completely mind-blowing. No pun intended, right? Use it. All I can say is use it. Try to remind yourself, put some post-it notes over a fridge or a mirror and just say positively prime yourself at least a couple of times a day, at least a couple of days a week. And if you miss a week, that's okay. Come back to it. All right. Be gentle on yourself. You're loved. You have something amazing in your hands. Leverage it. Harness this opportunity for yourself. Take the chance to go through a very elegant transformation process that will be enduring, incredibly positive, and the upside is fantastic. And you might be like a lot of us here, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us who've been subscribers or members, faithful for years. And there are some months we don't watch very many positive prime sessions. And then there are some months we watch 3 or 4 or 10 a day. Love you. All right, bye.